enjoyed watching it despite the weird timeline and despite the weird, like, again, like you said, there are weird moments, like when Allie is trying to, comfort Hetty into, there's a lot of like, okay, let me just have like a little lesbian moment here and kiss you. It's totally weird and gratuitous.
Well, yeah, and at the very end, it got like, so I expected this movie, and I don't know if it was just because like, I said I had heard of this movie before. I expected her to be crazy because she was like a closeted lesbian or something, because this is the 90s. You can do that in the 90s. You can't really do that now, for obvious reasons, but that's not really what it was. And yet it was also kind of implied that that's what she was, because wasn't she like kissing her on the elevator when she was like kind of dying? And it was just weird.
But see, I think that was more just weird 90s trying to sexualize things, because all of a sudden it was like lesbians were hot, in the 90s. And
Basic Instinct, yes, the same year, yeah.
Exactly, but I don't actually think the character was. Like, not to, like,
right,
look back on anything, but I genuinely do think it was just it was a weird choice by them to express.
Right, but what's the difference then between a film that, between a script that makes her a closeted lesbian and a script that maybe doesn't do that, but we still hint at it in the film in a few instances? Like, I think the effect is all the same. But so, yeah, it was weird, and I feel like, I'm not saying I would have liked it more if that was a bigger part of the movie, but if you're going to introduce it, it can't just be like,
you need to kind of hint at it
the
entire movie.
Yeah.
That she has feelings for Allie versus, like, I never got when she was trying to have a relationship with Allie, I always just assumed it was the sister relationship. Like, when you find out that her twin died.
And I did too.
Yeah, that's what you think. So, like, the, like, lesbian kissing is...
But you could easily take it in a direction where, yeah, she kills her boyfriend. Like, you could easily take it in a different direction. The movie doesn't, but then also, like, pretends that it does.
Yeah, I think you would have needed... For 5 seconds of the
movie, it was just strange.
I think you would have needed to, like, change the sibling loss thing. Like, that story would have needed... Like, come up with a new way.
This has just occurred to me. Again, I told you, the ending was reshot.
Yeah.
What if the ending was, no, you don't understand, Allie, I'm in love with you. And people didn't like that. I think that
would have been better.
And then they kind of just inserted, but they just kind of inserted things with the sister. Because all the sister stuff is like you might as well just narrate it. It's not really a big part of the story. It just like comes up here and there. She like reads a newspaper article. Like, there's so little of the actual sister stuff for that being the primary motivation.
And yet they start the movie with it. Like, it's obviously
they do, but that also could have been an aftershoot.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm just wondering if maybe this movie at one point or another was supposed to be more lesbians are insane, and maybe they realized, whether it was through their own judgment or reaction of an audience, that, hey, maybe this isn't very good. So I don't know. This is all blind speculation. I have no idea.
As much as I don't like the trope of like, crazy lesbians, I genuinely think that would have been a better ending. I think that motivation is better than, oh my god, I miss my dead sister.
If you properly set it up,
roommate. Totally.
If you properly set it up, I think it could have been better. Yes, but it's all about setup. But I didn't feel that the sister stuff was set up that great either. So I guess that's really the problem. Isn't so much the motivation. The problem is the setup to the motivation, like how much focus there is on it, I guess.
Now I want to read the novel and see how the novel ends, because now I need to know what that ending could have been. And maybe it's in writing, it's hinted at better, but obviously that's not what this is for. But, I'm so curious now that you've told me that this ending has been reshot. I need to know what the original was.
No, I'm just laughing because I knew there was a single white female too. I think that's come up on like as a recommendation to me on Tubi or something. I'm just now seeing that the full title, this was released in 2005, by the way.
There is a sequel.
The full title is Single White Female 2, The Psycho.
The Psycho.
I thought it was just Single White Female 2. Why do we need to make it that blunt and stupid? I don't know. But yeah, don't worry. That the Single White Female 2, The Psycho, is not on our list. We will not be covering that on this podcast, although maybe we should. I don't know. But
it's on my personal list now.
Sure, yeah, along with the whole Stalked by My Blank cinematic universe. So,
oh no, I've watched all of those already.
I'm sure there's like dozens of them, but But yeah, so what do you think of the movie overall? You said you liked it for the most part?
I mean, it was a confusing watch, but I was able to watch it in spite of things. When I initially saw the movie poster for it, I was like, okay, this is going to be really hokey. But like I did find myself watching it. So it wasn't horrible.
Well, you had to.
But I think no, I mean, listen, I could have probably not. I did that a lot in university, but I would recommend it to people, probably. Like, I know people that would probably enjoy this movie if they haven't already seen it. I think there could have been, like we said, there were some interesting choices and some storylines that I wish were more flushed out, but
yeah,
overall, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it either. I think overall this is a passable movie. I think what really helps it is I think the two lead women, Bridget Fonda, Jennifer Jason Leigh, are both really, really good. I don't know why. I wasn't expecting really great performances in this movie, but I was like really impressed with both of them. So yeah, I really enjoyed the performances. I thought Bridget Fonda was great at showing that vulnerability throughout the film of like even before anything truly like lifetime thriller is happening with her roommate. I thought it was all like really good, even just her stuff with Ned Ryerson and all that, and I thought she was good. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh, I thought was like a good psychopath in that, like, yeah, it was like a good performance, but like, and you and I kind of talked about it, like
she was the good, quiet, introverted psychopath,
yeah,
which I think sometimes is scarier than
Eric Roberts in our next film.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's female.
It's more subtle.
Really,
yeah,
it's female rage versus male rage. I think this is a perfect.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I think, but yeah, I thought she was like really good at times, not for long stretches of times, but at times she was kind of sympathetic, or at least the character was, and I think the performance allowed some sympathy to come through, but then she would. When she needed to, she was capable of dialing everything up to 11, at the end in the basement and all that stuff. Like, that was all good. But yeah, I thought both actors were really good. I think those are my favorite aspects of the film. I think questionable motivation or questionable setup for the motivation. I think the film definitely could have been better. But
it was acted really well, and I think I agree with you. I think that's why I enjoyed it, because the characters were good. The two of them together were really good. You bought them as friends when they were kind of making it as friends. And I think I was uncomfortable with Hetty's character because she played her so well. Not because, sometimes you're uncomfortable when you're watching a movie because you're like, oh, this is like just very badly acted. No, it was the opposite. I was uncomfortable because she was the character. She was believable as the character, and that's why it was so unsettling when she was creepy. So I agree with all that. And I guess I don't know how to conclude ultimately, but overall, I just thought this movie was okay. I don't know. There was something missing for me, where I didn't love it. Like, I wanted to like it more. If it was just on the strengths of those performances, I would have liked it more. I felt like there was something missing, whether it was the backstory, the motivation. I don't know. This movie just, it was like 80% of the way there, but I really wanted that last 20% or something. And I'm not sure how to articulate that better than I'm doing right now, but... Well, and I think what your points are, they align with what people seem to think at the time, too. Earlier I said this was, it wasn't a blockbuster, but it did well at the box office, and it wasn't, a critical hit. Opened number 2 behind Unforgiven, eventual Academy Award Best Picture winner. Also one of my favorite films ever. It's a perfect movie. I love it. This is not Unforgiven, but that's not a fair... Most movies are not Unforgiven, so... That's fine. Yeah, so did decent at the box office and did decently well when it comes to critics. So I think what we're saying is we're pretty aligned. I did see Ebert liked this movie. Yeah, I did. I read that review as well, actually. Yeah. So, but yeah, I wonder what he'd think about the next one. Oh God, yeah. I don't think he lived to see it, unfortunately, but yeah.